Tonight, on a very special CDVV book on tape, we present to you The Lip Flapper, Volume 3, Scintilla. Disclaimer, CDVV books on tape do not necessarily represent the opinions of CDVV or any of its members, or the Republican National Council. We are not responsible for any property or mental damages caused by listening to a CDVV book on tape. All copyrights are belong to their respective owners. Tonight, the part of Code Zidum will be played by FallChild42, and the part of Scintilla will be played by Chuck, Replay Studios, and Melee Champion, while In the Stow and Thrani lose in Dota 2. Description.
I felt my lighting partners are terrible.
To the Lip Flapper. Each week we delve deep into the community and get a good look into both individual members as well as group discussions on various issues that surround our hobby. This week in the Lip Flapper. This week, I flip-flapped with Scintilla, a long-time member and constantly great editor throughout the years. Scintilla is the mastermind behind Eva Bebop, Restless, The Nerve-Ending News, and now a word from our sponsors, as well as this year's hit, AMV Squidio. We talked about his past videos, some of his more recent hits, as well as some thoughts on the community as a whole. The interview. First of all, let me thank you for taking the time to answer my questions. But before we get started, how about you introduce yourself to the readers and let us know a little bit about yourself?
Well, let's see. I'm a lifelong resident of New Jersey with a healthy appreciation for pork roll, birch beer, a word I can't pronounce, and diners. I've also been rather musical for basically ever. From singing in church choirs, all-state choirs, and barbershop choruses, to playing in almost every musical ensemble. High school opera. To spending my hard-earned salary on more musical instruments than I have time to play.
My line?
Yes.
I was introducing to an anime and manga near the end of my high school career. With some friends from CTY, but it wasn't until college that my interest really exploded. With all my sudden access to an anime club, high-speed internet, and nearly borders that didn't care if I never bought anything. Where's the goddamn toilet paper? Since graduating from college, I've been working in various what the fuck is that word? Departments of a large insurance company and pursuing certifications from the Society of Actuarial. I still don't know what that word is.
My other interests include card games, including Spades, Hearts, Bridge, Word, etc., board games, including Chess Diplomacy, Sunrise of Catan, Japanese Mahjong since mid-2011, and simulations, including Civilization, Colonization, SimCity from Classic through 4, NHL 96, Roller Coaster Tycoon, college basketball coaching sims, and who knows what else.
Oh, and I think Sienna would hit me if I failed to mention that we've been married for 3 years, after having dated for 5 more, and having known each other since high school before that. If you've ever seen me in a costume at a convention, chances are she was the one who created it for me, and now she's plotting some for our new daughter.
Well, thanks for joining me, Scintilla. Let's start off nice and easy and ask how you got involved in editing AMVs.
It all started when I was introducing to anime and manga around my senior year of high school. My girlfriend at the same time was a big fan, and she collected a number of AMVs that she sometimes shared with me on the CDRW. We popped back and forth. You have to remember this was before widespread availability of broadband, and I have seen almost no anime at this point, but the video was still entertaining.
When I got to college, I had my own computer and a campus broadband connection, so it didn't take me long to discover the org and start seeking out new AMVs on my own. This was also when I really got exposed to a lot of new anime and started thinking to myself, hey, I could make these videos too.
My first attempt used Windows Movie Maker and VCD footage of a fan parody. But when I got home for the winter break that year, I installed my father's old copy of Adobe Premiere 5.1, read the manual, ran through the tutorials, and started experimenting. Some short snippets came out of that break, but I didn't see a video through the completion until a few months later, with the Nerve Evening News with Dan Rather.
Which I then sent to the Otaku-Con on a lark, never expecting it would actually break. It did. Then we actually went there, and I saw my first AMV contest on a huge screen, and we actually met other AMVers, and they were all a cool bunch. After that, I knew I wasn't stopping anytime soon. Am I supposed to read the next one? Move here.
No, that's Bobby's line.
More here for those who care.
Blue text.
Before I get deep into the interview, I would like to ask you about Aqualine Studios. Is there a specific purpose behind its founding? Is there anything special that the studio has as an editing philosophy? Why just yourself and Sienna? Why the eagle?
Aqualine Studios was pretty much only ever meant to be a cool name to do business under, because it's fun to make studio bumpers and pretend we're big movie studios. Plus, it sounds way better than a blank family. Similarly, we've never really considered expanding beyond the two of us because it keeps things simple. We can share resources easily, and if we ever want to collaborate, it just takes a yell up the stairs. Besides, the other editors we know in any kind of geographical proximity to us already have well-established names for themselves anyway.
The name proceeds from the eagle. For those who don't know, this is not the most common word around. A coin mean of relating to God, damn it, of having characteristics of an eagle. I have an affinity for raptors since high school, and the name allowed me to keep the link to birds of prey, which also projecting a refined brand image. God damn. Though the font has always been consistent, the logo took a while. At first I was just using whatever good Eagles photos I could find, until I realized I should probably be more consistent about branding if I wanted to stick around and have people remember my name. The yellow eagle, the blue circle was first nailed down to 2004's Rock Me Hideki, fucking Japanese word, choosing a true system to parody the touch tone bumper that closed out so many television shows in my childhood, even though I've abandoned the parody since, just as a tombstone abandoned that bumper. I can't imagine ever changing it now.
As for the editing philosophy, this might be long. Part of the problem with answering this is that if you asked me about my editing philosophy and asked Sienna about hers, you'd get two different answers. There are some points we have in common, though.
The first principle that guides the videos we make is that we want to make the videos we want to make. And screw what everyone else thinks. Overused Evanescence song? Who cares? 9 minutes long? Who cares? Life's too short to be editing videos that we ourselves don't enjoy. People might think of me as concerned with appearances, and to some extent I am. More on this later. But even so, I don't compromise on this point. I've been saying this for years, and I stand by it. I've never picked a concept that I myself didn't honestly want to see realized.
Secondly, from the pool of videos we want to make, we pick concepts strong enough to support whole videos. There are times when you're watching AMV and after a while you just tell that the concept was germinated from one or two money lines that just fit perfectly. But then the whole rest of the video just falls to pieces. God, I wish that would happen. We had concepts like this before, but when we realized that we wouldn't be able to keep up for the whole song, it's no longer fun. So we don't do these concepts. I should mention that often edited songs down if I didn't think I could do the full versions justice. See My Evil Alien, Blue Text, REMH, etc. I don't consider this cheating. I still enjoy the end results.
At this point, I should mention that much of how I approach AMVing can be explained by one simple fact. I've always been a perfectionist. Even if I consider an AMV worth making, I consider it worth making the best I can make it.
Accordingly, another important principle that I've tried to adhere to and try to make my personal brand stand for is that of solid execution of the concept, enough to keep people watching the whole way through. Even when time constrained, see 2007 through 2009, I've tried my best to make every scene serve a purpose and flow with the music the best that I can. When I actually do have the time to, I often find myself switching out scenes and tweaking transitions and timings and brain fart. Previewing hundreds of times until I'm convinced that I can't improve on it anymore. Basically, I try my best to make sure no one can watch one of my videos and find him herself thinking I could have done that concept better.
And lastly, I tried to give my MVs a polished presentation. Perhaps the most obvious aspect of this is how I tend to go crazy testing over the filters I can get my hands on and see what filter chain will give the best combination of visual quality and compressibility. Once again, perfection at work here. My AVI Sync filters guide grew out of this and partly meant to be my own personal easy reference. But it also includes the studio bumpers, cred sequence, or video info page write-ups. God, I'm gonna die.
In conclusion, I don't care if people associate me with the most original concepts or the most innovative editing methods, but when people see my name on an AMV, I want them to be able to expect a solid, cohesive video that keeps their attention to the end.
All right, hold up. Gotta pause. There is a hell of a lot of text after this. So right now, we're gonna stop. Sadly, for our listeners, we're gonna have to stop the voices, and we are just gonna plow through this as quickly as we can, keeping with the same paragraph order. You got that?
As fast
Good.
as you can.
As fast as you possibly can. If you stumble, just keep going. We got to get through this. This is running like a 100K marathon, and I'm fat. I'm going to have a heart attack. Are you ready? Are you ready?
Okay.
Are you ready?
We're ready!
3, 2, 1. You've written several guides on varying topics in the AMV development over the years, such as a guide to converting MPEG for conventions. What made you take the time to do this sort of thing? Any thoughts on future guides you might write?
Mostly I was singing and filming.
Keep going. Go.
Chuck's not cut out for this.
No, he's not.
Same kind of
why it's
thing with
funny.
the kind of encoding. Fuck you, next line.
So as for the DVD footage in Windows Movie Maker, the one is a little different. As a server is no person for person. Was the movement of time between her and the countless other the inherent restrictions. My own deep-seated urge to get to following best practice of avoid wasting time and effort. It seems that it would be a good idea to have a guy that someone has a question for that time. Go.
The nerve ending new is extremely solid piece that aged extremely well. What made you want to put this together? Why did you decide to choose Evangelion for this particular source of audio? Why the Papyrus font?
First off, the font's actually Bradley Hand ATC.
There's been so many random songs on my computer, I don't know how I first came across the Evolution Control Committee's masterpiece of subversive sampling known as rock when I was just really getting into the anime fandom. I originally hoped to be able to be the since the lyrics are so ridiculous, but I soon realized I hadn't seen nearly enough anime yet to be able to cover all of that.
Luck was mine. I just didn't have a chance to come for the first time of the semester, so it just was the first of mine. It was pretty wide variance of scenes, tones running around the gamut comedy and science cycle to trauma, so I thought it was more. I came to realize I could find scenes, so I'll follow most of the first. Some lines I never quit and finding good matches. Tough IBI, kill injured children come to mind. That brings me to something else my mom said at the time.
You have to understand, this is pretty much my first decently done AMV that went public, disregarding one or two important. This was because it amused me and because nobody had ever done it before. I wasn't really thinking about things like polished critical reception and all that because I never thought it would be seen by that many people. And it shows from times the intro sequence horribly inappropriate file choice that you pointed out to the pixelation of the later screens because I started cutting clips at half resolution to save hard drive space. If I had known this video was going to be shown on the big screen in front of thousands of Audiocon this year, I probably would have been more careful about things like that.
It's a little embarrassing to see things like that 8.5 years later, but apparently the concept was strong enough that people were willing to forgive faults like that, and I'm proud of that, Matt.
I'd be remiss if I didn't ask about Eva Bebop. What was the inspiration behind this classic AMV, and how did you manage to do such fantastic work with the technical limitations earlier of days of editing? Also, why did Evangelion of all things?
The closest I come to pinpointing the inspiration probably than that's good enough to have a guy on which was edgy and over redone the Forge for Mercy. Oh god, I can't read this shit. It didn't take me long to say the Kelly Bebop opening sequence to think I was the one of the coolest opening sequence ever, which I guess was one of my possible to parody in such a way, but I guess no opportunity in practice have special heavy effects. It's a lot easier to figure out when you're trying to create on screen when you already have the template to work from. Not as good and confusing when involving from scratch.
As for how, lots and lots of Adobe Photoshop. In fact, I was even more tedious and time-consuming than I had to be because I had to know because this existed busy or Turbocast bitch to because it was. But once the hard work of all that mask was over, I was actually composting everything you had done and being. It wasn't even this difficult. It's a lot of objects on screen at various points and be my order. Usually, I don't have them in Z order. It doesn't matter either way which ones go on the top layers, which ones go on the bottom layers because most of the objects don't rely on the one. So most of the effort was spent on getting the motion right, things like making sure everything was flying by the same number of pixels per frame, and so on. And thank the pen Adobe for solid. This would have been, well, impossible to correctly do Premiere 5.1.
And why Evangelion? Because somebody I have pretty well DVDs.
Have you considered remaking the prior two videos, both with Evangelion, with the new Evangelion movies that have recently been released?
Oh goodness, no, with a fucked up smiley face. That's pretty much what they are. They don't have nearly the free time I had back then. Very important for the techno monster like AEOAB. What the fuck is that? And some of the things probably aren't even the rebuild movies, but on top of that, so like the free time combining backlog of AVs, make more priority and create new stuff at the time I have.
Restlessness is naturally the highlight of both the AMVs. What was the story inspiration behind that video, especially when you consider the different genre nature to your prior work? Why did you choose Lakara instead of Cascada?
You're too kind, Carrot greater than. Though I should point out the first that was entirely due to the drama romance genre having made my Evangelion 2.5 years prior.
Anyway, I could have brought that song. I'm guessing it probably started with
God,
what? Fuck, except for this one version of April Club Mix, which had a bit more time. Fuck you, next line.
It took me way too long to realize I was considered but actually different artists entirely. It took me a while, but the help of Dixcogs.com, I finally tracked it down with the largest version of 2003. The only thing left to figure was the series is set too.
Didn't take too long to pick Loveless. It was pretty much the only romantic series I could remember that watching that had dark undercurrents and sensuality I needed, and certainly the only one that fit those criteria and had enough kiss to satisfy my craving for lyric sync. And even then, I almost ran out of kiss scenes. And I was until I actually started working with the footage that I made the happy discovery that a lot of the coolest scenes of the series practically composite themselves, which is the pitch backgrounds of the spell battles. I don't know if I did any actually online masking, but the Lumikey effect was everywhere.
Having only 2 weeks between a big scary Chirurgical exam and the anime next deadline, I missed the why does he have to write so much? I had to hope that I could only convey the tone of fear, awe, confusion, and eventually attachment inherent to just slowly editing. I guess it worked. No, it didn't. You lie.
Last year, you edited the very popular Con Dance video, and now a word from our sponsors. Why did you decide this song of all things? What this kind of anime nobody would ever thought of doing otherwise?
Well, you can blame Ash Yukon for this in a very round way. This is how Godly and Gainax Turbulent 2000 Battle through the years. I love that one. Was introduced by to me DJ Otzi. However, it was until a few years later until I'm checking other music to say enjoy as much as I enjoy Megman.
When I finally found Burger Dance, I began to wonder just what the Central European pop music was like, and then a ridiculously goofy song like this could become a huge hit. You can say this about DJ Otzi, but he sure knows how to take himself seriously. Take guts that.
And one quick super search later, revealing that nobody had set code GS to it yet, I decided that this video simply must be made!
Wait, is this my line? I'm lost.
Yes?
Oh. But why must
But
we
why-
Go!
You asked the civilians of the Japanese broadcast because he must injure and still giggling every time I think I mentioned to me. I did the Tesla second chorus. I think I read 2 lines.
I think you skipped one, is what you did.
You skipped like an entire paragraph. That's fine. We gotta keep going.
This time, come on.
On that topic, let's take a moment for random moment of patriotism. Ask what your favorite what your favorite of the warring restaurant factions is: KFC, Pizza Hut, or McDonald's.
Gotta go with P's-ZA Hut.
I was there.
Okay, enough of the older stuff. Let's talk about what everyone really wants to hear about and find out where the hell you found that squid song for AMV Squidio, which is probably one of my favorite videos of 2011, hands down. While the combination was obvious, what made you want to edit this video?
Such a loaded
What made me want to
question.
edit it? Simple. The desire to make MPs with my own music.
This was a goal I had for years. AMV's original music is something I see almost none in my 8 years in the hobby. Like I said before, I often come at the revolution is give me this.
You actually say the words.
You said
Keep this up,
stumble,
man.
keep going. Come on.
Keep right. A song about a musical being the whole life.
Well, at least he's
I've been
trying.
accumulating record equipment since graduating college, so I figured this was one of the few ways I could really break some new ground in the hobby and show people something I haven't seen before.
Not only that, but I actually had all the resources to do it in my usual perfectionistic way. I wanted nothing less than a mix that sounded professionally done, of a catchy song that would fit right in with the bubblegum dance of something, Aqua, Papaya, etc. Drove Sienna crazy during the recording process. She really is a trooper for putting up with me when I have my producer hat on.
In the end, I'd like to think that over here in comments like was that song Canon or the that comment from the random server in the Anime Next AMV contest was what inspired my new SIG banner. Maybe it's Canon, maybe it's Aqualine.
And hey, even 4chan liked it. Like, seriously, kind of.
Can our readers hear about what your next AMV might be about or what you might like to attempt in the future?
I'm habitually tight-lipped about the future of AMV plans, but I can say, Sienna, I'm planning to do something with major collaboration soon.
As an active member of AMV.org for many years, what do you think of A-M-V.org today as compared to what it was when you first joined?
Well, I've toned down on my forum participation considerably, but from what it used to be, so I might not be the best one to ask about that. I'll see what I do remember, though.
So is it cool to join right before the dangling carrot and then the golden donut became reality? As I remember, the frustration of not being able to track down copies of older videos due to offsite links going out of date. When everyone started to uploading videos here instead, that became much less of a problem.
The Star Scout system was cool at first, but I'm incredibly annoyed that the rise of its usage seems to have been to the detriment of the traditional opinion system.
I haven't noticed much change in the people aside from how it seems like most all the people who are big on the AMV scene when I was getting into it have stopped making AMVs by now, but which always did puzzle me. To me, the org's always been a cool place to hang out with a cast of characters that runs the whole gamut of personalities. It wasn't difficult to get involved in the conversation back then, and I don't think that's really changed. Maybe it seems a little more civilized these days with the closure of the off-topic board and with the IRC room basically supplementing the pit buddy chat, which I never found very inviting back in the day.
Well, maybe people perceive us as elitist, but I think mostly just out of a newfound contrast with other sites that didn't exist back when I was starting out. Read Hasha Kasha. I don't know. I don't think the actual tone.
Oh, Satchel!
Oh, actual tone have changed that much. But in any case, it's still true that the ones who care the most about the hobby will be the ones doing most of the talking.
One thing I've noticed is people not wanting to put up their videos here, sticking rather to the streaming-only sites because they don't want to make it any easier than necessary by offering direct downloads for others to steal their videos. As someone who got into the hobby when nobody was offering streaming and who's always kept direct download model fine first and foremost when planning new releases, this kind of thinking is pretty unthinkable to me. But it does seem to be a consistent thing with new editors recently.
Anything you'd like to say to the AMV.org community itself? How about something that might improve AMV.org?
Can't think of anything, sorry. I'm not much of an ideas person when it comes to improving communities, especially if I have almost no problems with how things currently are. It would be nice to get back to the exponential growth measured in the number of videos in the catalog we had going up until about 2006, but hell if I know how to do that.
Well, Thank you again for taking the time to answer my questions. Do you have any last-minute advice you'd like to give editors that might just be starting out, or something you'd like to say in general?
Hell yeah. Well, mainly just the same advice I've been offering for years. And I did do all these myself when I was starting out.
Make the videos you want to make.
If you want to
If you
improve your editing, God
Go
damn it.
ahead.
Go!
Why don't you read the
going.
theory guide? Also, watch other AMVs you consider good and try to figure out what makes them good.
And if you want to save the goddamn time and effort on the tech side, read the fucking
Doesn't say
technique guides.
goddamn. Or fucking. You guys are dirty. If you want to get your videos more exposure, sending them to conventions is a great way. So
Stop, we're
to
trying
do.
to speak live.
Above all, have fun.
Oh, that was my line.
Afterthoughts. Scintilla has an excellent attitude in the world of AMVs and follows a practice that I wish more editors would follow. P-Wolf alluded to this last week as well, but it's important to follow your heart in editing. Do what you want to do, say what you want to say. The Addams Family.
No.
That is actually what it says there. I am not making... Okay. No, I am very professional. Not what you think others would want you to do, or what you think crowds might like. Because when you edit what you love, you're more likely to stick with it. Through the thick and the thin, and put your whole self into the videos. When you have yourself in a video, you're likely to follow it through and give it the kind of polish to make it into something great. While I'm not as perfectionistic as Scintilla is, I do think it's important to have a strong follow-through with videos. Anything worth doing right, anything worth doing is worth doing.
I don't think we're getting our free cookie, guys.
Oh, and if you want the Squid Song, you can snag it here for $1. Seriously, consider supporting them, because these people deserve a little love for making AMV Squidio possible. XD. Also, if you haven't already, I still highly recommend you watch his AMVs. While I'm preferential to Restless, any of the videos I've linked above are just as fun to watch. Next time, in the Lip Flapper. Join me next week as I sit down with a group of editors and get their opinions on editing faux pas known as lip flap, and we get the community to discuss this long-debated subject. Okay. Final thoughts from the people that recorded this. Scintilla, sorry your words got mumbled, but you wrote a lot. Like, a lot. And I have hard drive constraints. So, we sped through that, got through it as best we can.
I don't even know what the hell is going on anymore.
Recording a wave?
Yes.
What do you have, like 1 gigabyte free?
This thing is like a 10,000-page essay.
Yeah, but it's still just a wave. Like, dude, just delete some of your progress. You can't possibly that much.
We sped through it. It took us a half hour, Ying. I don't want to hear about it.
Yeah. Go back to Coda.
Go. I don't even know who I was playing as.
Oh wow, it's been like 36 minutes. Jesus Christ, yeah. I've been lagging this whole time too. It fucking sucks.
Get out of
I
here.
can't do anything. Like someone shows up, oh, I'm dead. Cool.
Are we still recording?
We are still recording. And this was a CDVV book on tape.